This Girl on Thacker and The Omen. The Omen is one of the most iconic and famous horror films ever made. Let's imagine you ask someone on the street, what are your favorite horror films from the 70s? Some of the first ones people think of are movies like The Shining, Halloween, and The Omen. Now personally, I really enjoy this film. Just as a film, I think it is great. It's very creepy and at some points even scary. I think Damien is a great horror icon without just being a straight up slasher. He's just a child that happens to be the Antichrist. Now I wouldn't say I'm a fan of the Omen franchise. I've only seen The Omen twice. Once was a few years ago, and the second was in preparation for the First Omen. I've seen a bit of Damien the Omen 2, don't think I've ever seen the movie fully, and I know pretty much nothing about The Omen 3, 4, and the 10-6 remake. I'm a casual enjoyer of the original Omen. So when a prequel to The Omen was announced, my first thoughts were, well, that's unnecessary, but I'm also intrigued. And then a few months later, we get the plot of this film, which was that a church would bring on the coming of the Antichrist in order to get people to go to their church. And that really piqued my interest for this movie. I was honestly pretty interested in a prequel to The Omen, as that generally sounds like a really good plot. So now that you've seen the first Omen, this film is great. Just as a film, it's made fantastically. Everything you pretty much say about this film, I'm going to reply with, yeah, it's done great. Cinematography, the acting, the writing, pacing, etc. Generally, the first Omen is a very solid and great film. After seeing Imaginary, it's really good to see an actual really great horror film. Now, I'm not going to say it's better than the original Omen, because I don't think it is. But I honestly think it comes pretty close, actually. Like, closer than I was ever expecting. But what you're probably wondering, is this a good prequel to The Omen? And yeah, this is honestly a really good prequel to The Omen. I totally do believe this happened before the events of The Omen. It does absolutely nothing to contradict the original, and really expands the world of The Omen. I will say, the first 20 minutes or so of this movie are pretty slow. You guys know, I love slow movies, but even I was kind of going, oh, okay, something better happened pretty soon. Back to those first 20 minutes or so, the film does pick up majorly. Not only does this film recapture the creepy subtlety of the original, I actually think it's scarier than the original Omen. Now you guys probably do know, I'm a major scaredy cat, so take me saying this film is scary however you will. One thing I really didn't expect coming into this film is all the physical horror. In the original Omen, it's mainly psychological horror. Horror that the more you think about it, the more scared you get. Anyway, yes, the original Omen does have physical horror, decapitations, impalings, etc, etc. It's all right 1976 impalings and decapitations. The effects are pretty dated. They're still good, but they're pretty dated. But the first Omen has a ton of physical horror. Some really disturbing and gory stuff. Stuff that's gonna make you want to look away from the screen, but you just can't. I was honestly pretty shocked with some stuff I saw in this film. But as I did mention, I think it does do a great job doing subtle horror. For the most part, I think this film does hold on its own, and not just as a prequel to The Omen. But they just last 5 minutes, and it's just full-blown Omen. But I really appreciate the way it's so long in the film to use that nostalgia from The Omen. And this way does try to do a big twist at the end, but this is a prequel to The Omen, so there's really only one way this movie can go, so you already know how it's gonna end. But it is fun seeing how we get to that ending. And I will say, there were 2 little twists that happened during the big twists, and I thought those were honestly really well done. I wasn't expecting them, and they were honestly pretty solid twists. I can't really say there's anything bad in the first Omen. I mean, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I can't say there was anything that made me go, oh, great, well that just ruined everything. There's nothing like that in this movie. Now, this movie is definitely not for everyone. If you can't handle mild horror movies, like general slasher films, then yeah, this movie is not for you. There's even rumors this film was almost rated NC-17, which if you don't know, is the highest rating a movie can get and is above an R rating. And yeah, I can really handle the R cut of this movie. I don't think I can handle the NC-17 cut of the first Omen. So if you like really horror movies, then you'll love this. But if you're a person that can handle that stuff, then maybe skip on this film. But if you do like movies like that, which are just really horror, then I do highly recommend it. Bye guys for now, bye Thacker.